KTN Friday Briefing with Betty Kialo.
Officers yetu waka exchange fire, wawili wakawawa na bunduki aina pastola ikawa recovered.
Shot on sight, Likoni suspects gunned down in Mombasa.
An independent body or authority constituted strictly in accordance with Article 34(3)(b) shall conduct the tendering process afresh.
Back to square one, government ordered to start digital migration afresh.
The roadmap to complying with these regulations is and has been the bone of contention.
Slowing down the new rules, Matatu owners plead to government.
Every primary school in the Republic will be connected to the national grid by the end of the next financial year.
Power for primary schools, reality check for Uhuru's ambitious plan.
Pleasure having your company tonight on Friday Briefing. Trust you had a great day. Now, in the next hour or so, we have comprehensive news coverage, including details of how police gunned down the Likoni attack suspects. But you know, it's only Friday if your favorite segments of the guest anchor and Mind Your Language are lined up. So tonight on the guest anchor seat, we have the latest millionaire in town, 21-year-old Alfayo Wawire from Kakamega, who is in Nairobi for his very first time, will be joining me a little later. Also, your favorite teacher, Willis the Word Master, is in studio for tonight's lesson. Do send in your requests. The hashtag is, of course, a Friday Briefing, a serious show lined up, but let's first catch up with the news. Well, we begin in Mombasa, where police say they have gunned down two of the suspects who attacked the Joy in Jesus Church in Likoni on Sunday, killing 6 people. The announcement came just hours after the Inspector General of Police, David Kimayo, had criticized the area county commissioner for his shoot-to-kill order. KTN's associate editor, Noah Otieno, begins our coverage tonight.
After a week of hundreds of arrests and dramatic raids in areas suspected to be harboring terror suspects and criminals, the Coast Police had something to report.
Officers yetu walijaribu kusimamisha wakatoroka. Officers yetu walifuata mpaka mahali inaitwa Siwani, ambapo walikuwa challenge tena, wakaanza kufyatua risasi kwa maafisa yetu. Hapo ndio officers yetu waka exchange fire, wawili wakawawa.
We have tried to piece together the information ile ambayo tumegather na ukiweka pamoja, it is leading to this gang.
The news has come as some kind of a poetic pause after the harsh criticism that followed the shoot-to-kill order given by the Coast County Commissioner after the Likoni church attack, as the country pushed the police for answers on the audacious gun attack in a place of worship.
Wale si watu wa kushikwa, wamepatikana ndiye huyu ako na hiyo bunduki. Mariza yeye hapo. Anapelekwa kotini kufanya nini na ameua watu 6.
The Inspector General of Police spoke just hours before Nelson Maro and his team would announce the culmination of that shoot-to-kill decree.
In accordance with our laws of this country, nobody in this country is authorized to shoot to kill.
Mmoja alitoroka na majeraha ya risasi, na ndio mimi naomba wananchi, ukiona mtu akiwa na vitonda ama akiwa na hiyo majeruhi ya risasi, mtupigie simu, sababu hiyo ni kati ya ile watu walifamia watu kwa ile kanisa.
This development comes as President Uhuru Kenyatta made a deal with business people of Somali origin from the Nairobi Eastleigh area to have them cooperate with the government in hunting down the terror suspects.
Sijawaita nikiamini ya kwamba
dini ya Islam ndio wenye ugaidi katika taifa letu la Kenya. Hapana. Vile wenzangu hapa wamesema, nyinyi wenyewe mmejionea ya kwamba Waislamu wako katikati ya serikali yetu.
Since the Likoni attack, Coast Police say they have arrested 200 suspects, charged 105 in court, and set free 95 others against whom there was no evidence. Now, KTN Friday Briefing.
So the police say they have now shot and killed 2 of the suspects in the Likoni church attack. On the big question tonight, we're asking, should the shoot-to-kill order be kept in place? Should the shoot-to-kill order be kept in place? The number is, of course, 22155. You can tweet me at Betty Kialo or at KTN Kenya or with a hashtag Friday Briefing, and I'll be sampling your views during this newscast. Now to that major victory by 3 media houses who had challenged the government's approach to digital migration. Now the Court of Appeal has now extended the deadline of that plan to September this year. The judges, Daniel Musinga, Roslyn Nambuye and David Maraga, also ordered that the government issues the 3 media houses with digital transmission licenses. KTN's Wilson Mburu has more.
It was a most anticipated ruling, as the future of broadcasting in the country depended on which way it went. In their ruling, it was a big victory for the 3 media houses, as the 3 appellate judges put the brakes on the digital migration process and postponed it to September.
Second and third respondents are hereby restrained from switching off the appellant's analog frequencies, broadcast spectrums, and broadcasting services. In order to comply with these orders, the new switch-off date shall not be later than 30th September 2014.
The 3 judges also granted a crucial application by the media houses, the Standard Group, the Nation Media Group and Royal Media Services, that they be given a transmission license for their content.
In view of the appellant's massive investment in the broadcasting industry, we direct that the independent regulator constituted as stated above do issue a PST license to the appellants without going through the tendering process upon meeting the terms and conditions set out in the appropriate law.
The 3 media houses moved to the Court of Appeal after High Court Judge Justice David Majanja declined to grant orders to halt the digital migration until the issues they had raised were ironed out. Among other issues the media houses had raised included the airing of their content as free-to-air channels by digital service providers without their consent. The judges argued that this infringed on the intellectual property rights and hence ordered GoTV and StarTimes to cease this transmission until an amicable solution is reached with all parties.
Respondents to air the appellants' FTA programs without their consent is a violation of the appellant's intellectual property rights and is hereby declared null and void.
Kenyans now have until the end of September to buy the set-top boxes when Kenya finally switches to digital transmission 2 years after its intended deadline. Philip Murgor, one of the lawyers appearing for the media houses, says it is a great win for Kenyans.
We expect that you as media are also very happy. It's historic. It's a big message to government. When they go about implementing the new constitution, take a bit of time, take good legal advice, and determine that the steps you take are correct, in compliance with the constitution, and generally beneficial to the citizenry of this country.
The 3 media houses have finally got what they have been asking for, the right to transmit their content as opposed to sending it to a competitor. The challenge now is putting in place the right infrastructure to handle the migration, which has now been set at the end of September. Wilson Mburu, KTN, at the Supreme Court in Nairobi.
In Kisumu, Migori Governor Okoth Obado lost his seat after a court of appeal nullified his election. Also in the same court, Nyando MP Fred Outa lost his seat after judges found him guilty of voter bribery. Samogina reports.
The first respondent shall...
It was shock and disbelief for those who had been stripped their leadership mantle after a year of basking in leadership goodies.
That you voted for me genuinely? Yes. We did not steal any votes. Yes.
On the flip side, it was triumph for petitioners. In case 1, the appeals court sitting in Kisumu reversed the High Court decision that had upheld the election of Migori Governor Okoth Obado. The bench cited massive election irregularities attributed to human errors by IEBC. The appellate judges faulted the High Court of overlooking the irregularities to uphold Obado's election.
It's been a long process. It's been a long journey. But justice has prevailed.
Given that you are still there, those who voted for me. Hata kama tunarudia hiyo kitu si bado tunashinda na maji ile kubwa.
IEBC has been directed to pay both Obado and the petitioner 1 million shillings each for conducting a flawed exercise that affected the outcome. But the governor has vowed to move to the Supreme Court. Obado contested on a PDP ticket against Professor Jared Oyugi of ODM. Still in Kisumu, Nyando MP Fred Outa was not only stripped of being MP but slapped with 3 million shillings as cost for the court petition. The court found Outa guilty of using public resources in his campaigns. Appeals Court Judge Festus Azangalala ruled Outa allowed a CDF official Geoffrey Yogo as his chief agent. The court found Outa guilty of using CDF funds in his campaigns.
The Director of Public Prosecutions, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, and the Speaker of the National Assembly that on the evidence on record, we find the third respondent, Frederick Otieno Outa, committed the election offense of bribery.
In Nairobi, the appeals court upheld the election of Narok Governor Samuel Tunai, dismissing an appeal by his challenger, Ledema Olekina. The 3-judge bench ruled that over 80,000 votes gap between the two was a reflection of a free and fair elections. Samogina, KTN.
Now, also in court, Deputy President William Ruto has lost his bid to run away from a judgment requiring him to pay 5 million shillings to a former IDP. Justice Rose Ougo declined to halt the execution, saying the IDP Adrian Gilbert Muteshi had demonstrated to the court that Deputy President is capable of paying the money. Ruto's lawyer Kioko Kilukumi requested the court to allow him to be depositing the money in a joint account that will be operated by him and Muteshi's lawyer. Kilukumi added that this would help retrieve the money easily in the case they won their case in the Court of Appeal. But this was opposed by Muteshi, saying the Deputy President had not yet filed any appeal. Justice Ougo is issuing the order, noted that the court cannot deny Muteshi the opportunity to get his money, but also gave Ruto a chance to appeal within 14 days. Now, a day after the government affirmed tough new rules for the Matatu industry, operators are now pleading for more time. The Matatu Welfare Association says the 3-month period given by the government, which ends this Monday, is not reasonable for all the 60,000 Matatus to comply. Najma Ismail has the details.
There's a ticking time bomb waiting to explode in the country's public transport sector as the Transport Ministry and a section of PSV owners are at loggerheads regarding the new traffic rules following Thursday's tough remarks by Transport Cabinet Secretary Michael Kamau when he met traffic commanders and county commissioners.
From Monday, anybody caught over speeding atakuwa amejirete kwetu, and there is no way, we just have to deal with them perpendicularly.
The Matatu Welfare Association says they are simply not ready. Despite the deadline being just 3 days away, they say only 8,000 PSVs have complied with the new rules as of today, out of a total of over 60,000.
But the roadmap to complying with these regulations is and has been the bone of contention. You cannot expect over 100,000 PSV vehicles to fit in the new speed governors within 3 months.
we also want, and I want to reiterate this, to decentralize services from Nairobi, Times Towers. Road licenses should not always be be put here. Somebody travels from Kisumu, from Garissa, from Wajir, from Mombasa, from everywhere, all of them being brought to Nairobi. Why?
The PSV owners argue that Engineer Kamau did not initiate public participation before gazetting the regulations.
We urge the Cabinet Secretary to uphold the principle of the rule of law as provided for in Article 10, Sub-Article 2B of the Constitution.
According to the new rules by the National Transport and Safety Authority, all PSVs should have tamper-proof speed governors, must belong to a SACCO that has at least 30 vehicles, and get rid of multicolored decor. They should also have their roof racks or roof carriers removed, which means that passengers traveling up country with luggage must find alternative methods of moving their cargo. The new laws also demand that all SACCOs must employ their workforce who will be entitled to a monthly salary, NHIF and NSSF membership. SACCOs with long-distance vehicles must also now have a fleet management system whose data will be stored for at least 6 months. The operators will also be required to file quarterly reports on accidents, which will include the number and nature of passenger complaints and how they were resolved. Najma Ismail, KTN.
Now to some reality check on the ambitious announcement made by President Uhuru Kenyatta in his State of the Nation speech. The president pledged that all primary schools in the country would be connected to electricity by 2015. But as KTN's Wilkis Tanyabo now reports, that promise appears to be a distant mirage for many pupils in Kenya's far-flung regions.
A piece of cloth passes as a blackboard, bearing important lessons for the Lentanai Nursery School class of 2014. The cloth is probably older than most students, but they soldier on, determined not to miss out on an opportunity to learn. Young though they are, these pupils in Samburu East are aware that they are starting off at a disadvantage. There are no classrooms in this school. A seat in the shade will do. The class register shows that there are over 140 pupils registered in Lentanai Nursery School. 3 members of staff supervise them, 2 volunteer teachers and a cook. This means the 2 teachers must learn to juggle their schedules. In an area where locals struggle to raise school fees to keep their children in school, their salaries are never guaranteed.
Hiyo pesa yetu tunayokota kwa shule ni 4,000 na sasa tunagawa kama mtu anaweza kupata 1,000 hivi. Na watoto ni wengi zaidi lakini wachache wanaweza kulipa.
On Thursday, a line in the President's State of the Nation address caught the attention of many. Uhuru Kenyatta announced plans to ensure all primary schools were connected to the national power grid by the end of the next financial year. This would pave the way for the government to provide laptops to school children.
Every primary school in the Republic will be connected to the national grid by the end of the next financial year. This, honorable members, is in tandem with my administration's ICT initiative.
But these are dreams students in schools in the area can hardly bring themselves to believe will one day come to pass. Not as they line up to receive school uniforms and supplies donated by a well-wisher. Poor infrastructure, high poverty levels, and insecurity in the area stand in the way of learning. And for many pupils, the power plants and laptop project seem like a mirage. But parents here continue to enroll their children in school in the hundreds every year, each hoping that the dream may just come true someday. Wilkis Tanyabo, KTN.
So the police say they have now shot and killed 2 of the suspects in the Likoni church attack. Now, on the big question tonight, we're asking, should the shoot-to-kill order be kept in place? Should that shoot-to-kill order be kept in place? The number is 22155, or you can tweet me at Betty Kialo, at KTN Kenya, or with a hashtag Friday Briefing, and we'll be sampling your views as we move along in the bulletin. This is KTN Friday Briefing. We now take a short commercial break. Don't go away. When we come back, one of your favorite segments here on Friday Briefing, the guest anchor, is coming up. And tonight, a first one, a millionaire who dropped out of school. It's his first time in Nairobi, and he's excited, and you cannot fail to meet Alfayo Wawire. He's going to be coming up in a short while. Stay tuned. And how to cure jiggers in 10 minutes flat.
You are watching KTN Friday Briefing.
Welcome back to KTN Friday Briefing. It's time for our guest anchors to take the lead in this bulletin. And tonight we have quite an interesting chap together with his cousin. There you go. This is Alfayo Wawire, and that's his cousin Titus Barasa. Alfayo has won 5 million shillings courtesy of the Fanikisha na Mshwari promotion. Alfayo, karibu kwa KTN Friday Briefing.
My name is Paul Alfayo Wawire. I want to read news today. Let's now give you...
Atusomi saizi. Acha kwanza nijue.
Nimeona hapo nimejua
bado. Usipende haraka sana. Relax,
Nilikuwa nasema nataka kujimalizia kumbe.
Ni sawa. Sasa tuambie nyumbani ni wapi na mlikuja siku gani?
Tulikuja sijui kwa
Jumanne.
Jumanne.
Mbona mlikuja Nairobi? Mliambiwaje umeshinda hii pesa?
Mimi jinsi nilivyoambiwa, nilipigwa na simu kutoka watu wa Safaricom. Vile walinipigia simu nilikuwa nimelala, na nilivyokuwa nimelala walinipigia simu na nambari yenye inaanza na 0729333333.
Alafu akakwambia nini?
Alafu akaniambia kuwa wewe ndio mshindi wa milionea wanafanikisha na Mshwari. Na jinsi nilivyosikia hivyo, nilisema kana kwamba watu wa Safaricom ni wachanja zaidi. Hamjui mtu mwenye mnataka kukula pesa sasa hivi.
Ulikuwa unafikiria alikuwa anataka kukula pesa?
Nikawaambia kuwa mmeangukia maskini mkono buriani.
Kwa hivyo ndio ukajua sasa umeshinda hii pesa?
Hapana. Sasa baada hiyo siku ilikuwa siku ya Ijumaa. Jumamosi na ilipofika, watu wa Safaricom walinipigia simu wakasema kuwa tunataka tukuje huko nyumbani upate kutujua na tukuje na baba. Na tukuje
usiogope, ni sawa.
Na tukuje Nairobi, unajua nimeona nyumbani.
Umeona nyumbani pale, sasa umechanganyikiwa. That is Alfayo when Safaricom visited his home and took some of those shots. That's his home right there. Kwa hivyo sasa pale ndo nyumbani sasa.
Hapo ndiko babu.
Hapo ndo kwa baba. Kwa babu wako. Sasa hapo ndo unaishi, na hapo unafanyanga kazi gani?
Sasa hapo ndio nipenye naishi, huko ni nyumbani, hapo kwa babu ndio nyumbani.
Kwa hivyo kazi wewe unafanya kazi gani?
Mimi wanafanya kazi ya miwa, kupanga miwa kwenye trakta.
Hivyo tu vile unafanya pale.
Hivyo vile mnaona hivyo.
Na unapenda hiyo kazi?
Hiyo kazi si kupenda kwangu. Yani si kupenda kwangu, lakini Mwenyezi Mungu amenishushia baraka za kunipatia pesa milioni 5.
Milioni 5. Sasa hii Titus, labda unaweza tuambia sasa vile ulisikia kazi yako amepata hii pesa, ni nini na mnakuja Nairobi? Kwanza ilikuwa marenyo ya kuja Nairobi?
Naam. Kufuatana na sisi ni kwamba kazi yangu alikuja kumwambia babu kwamba alipigwa simu kutoka kwa Mshwari kwamba amepata pesa. Na mimi hapo nilikuwa nimelala. Baadaye nikaamka nikamuuliza babu, mlikuwa mnazungumzia nini? Akajaribu kuniambia, nikamwambia je,
amekuambia ni nambari gani? Akaniambia nambari sijui, lakini unaweza kumulizia mwenyewe. Nikasema nikaje nikamuuliza ilikuwa inakaa vipi. Jinsi alivyoniambia, sasa nikajua huenda ikawa ni ukweli, kwa sababu si rahisi nambari za Safaricom zinajulikana kote.
Okay, sawa. Kwa hivyo sasa mkamba mnakuja Nairobi. Hii ni mara yako ya kwanza kuja Nairobi. Ni nini umefurahia sana na huku Nairobi?
Kitu cha kwanza kufurahia hapa Nairobi, nimeona kiwanja ndege na ndege yenyewe, na vile niliingia hapa town kutoka kwenye kiwanja ndege, niliona gorofa refu zaidi.
Hujai kuona gorofa refu zaidi?
Sijaiona gorofa refu zaidi, kwa maana mimi gorofa yangu ya mwisho kuona niliona gorofa 2.
Wapi huko tu Kakamega?
Kakamega Matete.
Matete. Ndio kuna gorofa 2. Sasa kuja Nairobi kuna gorofa nyingi sana.
Nyingi sana, hata mimi mwenyewe sijui kuhesabu kwa maana sikusoma.
Tunaongea maneno ya kusoma sahi, lakini Titus, kwa hivyo sasa nasikia mnaishi kwa hoteli ya kifahari sana. Inaitwa Sankara huku. Kwa hivyo imekuwa aje pale hivi?
Sangara ndio huenda wengi watasifia kwamba tumefika mbinguni, lakini ukweli ni kwamba huenda tunapata matatizo kadha wa kadha, kwa sababu ukitaka kununua airtime ya 20 bob vile tulikuwa tukifanya nyumbani, huenda utapata. Nilijaribu kuulizia, wakatuambia ya airtime ya mwisho kuuza ni shilingi 500. Sasa ilibidi nikamwambia mwenzangu, basi twende tukadeposit hizi pesa zetu shilingi 100, alafu kisha baadaye tutanunua kama airtime nikuzambazie pia nikuzambazia, alafu nibaki na zingine.
Kwa hivyo imekuwa hakuna airtime ya shilingi 500 kwenda chini. Yote ni inaanzia
hakuna hata 10 hakuna.
Hata hakuna huko Sankara. Na wewe Sankara umeona kukiwaje ama huku umeona kukwaje?
Sankara nimeona ni salama sana, lakini kitu jenye sijaona hapa Nairobi, mimi napenda ukali sana, na ukali yenyewe sijaiona.
Sankara wanapika ugali?
Sankara niliwaomba ukali, wakasema kuwa hapa sisi tunaishi na wazungu, huwa hatupiki ukali wote.
La ajabu ni kwamba katika tamaduni zetu huwa wanapika ugali hivi na mboga hivi, lakini hapa wanakupatia ugali hivi na mboga hivi.
Kwa hivyo sasa nyinyi mnataka kukula ugali na ingoho?
Ingoho tumekula tumetosheka, lakini ugali tukule tushibe kama nyumbani.
Sasa hapa hata uwezi ukapata kunde lolote.
Unataka hata kunde?
Kunda ukiomba chakula jenye unajua ukikula haileti taste yenye unajua ile.
Unataka ile huko ya nyumbani, ile kunde kabisa.
Ile kunde kabisa.
Na sasa hii pesa, unajua sasa huko Nairobi kuna wasichana wazuri na wasichana wabaya. Sasa utajikingaje na kuchanganishwa? Unaona utaweza kuchanganishwa upatiane kamoja hivi, kamilioni kamoja?
Sasa mimi chinzi nilivyozaliwa niko na akili ya kuzaliwa, lakini sina akili ya kusoma. Sasa mimi mwenyewe ninajua vile nitajirithi ili wasichana nitajua vile nitajirithi ili wasichana niepukane nao. Kitu cha kwanza, msichana akija mbele zangu nitamwambia vile nilikuwa maskini mkono buriani na hukuonekana hapa hata kituju, lakini isipokuwa umeona nimepata hela na umeona kana kwamba ukuche hapa penye niko. Sasa safari ikuwe njema kwako.
Kwa hivyo hawakuwa ukiwa maskini, kwa hivyo sasa pia wasikuje sasa hivi vile sasa uko tajiri sasa.
Sasa mimi sitaki msichana yeyote, ili hali wasichana wote hapa duniani wangu, hata wale wenye wanazaliwa, kwa sababu mimi sichaoa. Sasa nikija kwa msichana mmoja, sasa ule ndiye atakuwa msichana wangu na wale wengine nitawaacha.
Na huyo msichana unataka kutoka Nairobi, because unajua huku kuna wengi sana.
Lakini tatizo ni kwamba ukija upande wa mkoa magharibi, sisi kazi yetu inakuwa kama ngumu kupalilia miwa. Unapata miwa inakukata, unapalia kwa saa nyingi. Sasa ukiwa msichana kutoka huko atasema hapana, naona kama una mistreat, una violate my human right.
Sasa nataka mtu mwenye nikioa akuwe mtu wa kupalia miwa kuanzia saa 12 hadi saa 9 mchana.
Lakini sasa uko na pesa, mnaweza fanya biashara zingine.
Sasa pesa si hoja, ili hali mimi mimi mwenyewe najua vile nitarithi hizo pesa na huyo msijana atatafuta chembe lake, alafu pia nami nishike chembe langu tuingie shambani tukilima. Si eti ukiona pesa aulimi. Sasa usinione hapa televisheni na ukaseme kuwa huyu vile amepata pesa anaweza kuepukana na sisi. Na mimi nikipata tractor ikiwa mbele yako, ikiwa shambani lako, watu wakipanga pia nami naweza kupanga. Useme huyu milionea kwa nini anapanga miwa?
Kabisa, napenda hivyo. Lazima ulime. Sawa basi, kwa hivyo sasa imefika hiyo wakati ambao tunataka introduce story kwa viewers, watazamaji wetu pale nyumbani. Kwa hivyo sasa mtajipanga vile sasa mtaanza. Kamera yenu ni iko hapa mbele, iko na kamera 2.
Mimi nitasoma kwa hiyo.
Nyinyi wote mnasoma kwa hii.
My name is Paul Alfayo Wawire. I want to read news today. Let's now give you the story of one man who say he has finally cured for chicas.
And according to him, the treatment takes just 10 minutes. The new herbal medicine known as Pehbedihil is dipped in warm water, and unlike other Zika treatment drug, it leaves the affected part of the body in its original form.
Now we are here in Kiambu County, and we are here for that mission. We want to make Kiambu the first county 100% Zika free. Main advantage of this product, it is herbal. It works 3 ways. It cleans your system, then you can use it to clean your homes. Once you clean yourself, you don't pour it out, you pour in the house to clear out the jiggers. It is effective because within the first 10 minutes of cleaning, the jiggers pop out by themselves. You don't have to remove manually, they just come out by themselves.
Right, that's the cure for jiggers. Mnafikiria umeenjoy ama imekuwa ngumu?
Kuenjoy hapa Nairobi
umeenjoy kusema story kwa watazamaji wetu?
Nimeenjoy.
Umefikiria utasoma news kweli maisha yako?
Sasa mimi sikuwa najua eti naweza kusoma news maishani mwangu. Na vile nimefika hapa KTN live. Nimeshukuru Mwenyezi Mungu muumba mbingu na ardhi. Sasa nawaambia wale watu wenye wako na laini mtandao mwingine usio wa Safaricom, sijawaambia kuwa mtupe ile laini, lakini tafadhali nawaomba mnaweza kuongezea laini ya Safaricom muwe nazo 2.
Sawa. Na sasa nini unaweza ambia wale watu maybe wanakuona wanasema sasa atarudi shuleni, sasa since uli drop out class 6 utarudi tena shuleni ama unaona utafanyaje?
Mimi vile nimepata hela hizi siwezi nikarudi shule kwa sababu mimi nilikataa shule.
Kwa nini ulikataa shule? Sasa labda uko na karo, unaweza pata mwalimu ambaye anaweza kukusomesha polepole.
Sisi tulikosa karo, lakini mimi nilikuwa na kichwa ngumu nikifunzwa. Sasa hivi kesho nikiuliza swali siwezi nikajibu hata kichele.
Sawa. Asanteni sana Alfayo, tutapata kuona siku za usoni. Utumie pesa vizuri.
Sana nimeshukuru. Na nawaambia wana Kenya msishangae na mimi kijana mfupi kama kihunzi cha mahindi. Kijana yule mwenye ameparara hapa duniani ndiye ameshinda milioni 5
kabisa.
Na nimeshukuru wale wananchi wale wa Safaricom. Na nikiwaambia kuwa mtilie maanani, mimi kwa majina naitwa Paul Alfayo Wawire.
Kabisa. Alfayo Wawire na Titus Barasa. Asanteni sana kwa kuja.
Kabla tuondoke studio,
haraka tu.
Tafadhali ningeomba wananchi watukufu, wapo kuna shindano lolote, tusiwe vipofu wenye macho wala viziwi wenye masikio. Tafadhali tujaribu. Inaweza kuwa bahati yako. Maana tunasema kwamba heri kukatwa na bahati kuliko kukosa bahati.
Kabisa. Asanteni sana.
Na uchunge usikatwe na bahati bali ukuwe na bahati.
Asanteni sana Alfayo na Titus. Asanteni sana kwa kuja kwa studio zetu. Tunawatakia kila laheri.
Pia nanyi.
Na mtumie pesa vizuri, na ukianza unirushie maybe kamilioni kamoja hivi.
Sasa wewe umeona nimeshinda milioni ndio ukuja hapa.
Sasa kwa fupi ni kwamba tutakukaribisha nyumbani upewe.
Sawa.
Na sasa hata si tunaweza kukukaribisha nyumbani ndio upewe, tutakutuma nyumbani wewe utangulie nyumbani ndio sisi tukufuate.
Sawa.
Watazamaji, wapendwa watazamaji, tunamsalimu
kila
imesha.
Asimeisha. Sawa. Well, that has been our guest anchors. And of course, that's Alfayo Wawire and Titus, his cousin Titus Baraza. You've heard what they've had to say. Just because they've won 5 million shillings doesn't mean they won't go back to sugar cutting. Interesting people there. Let me now bring in Bonnie Tunya. What do you think of our guest anchors tonight?
I think their dreams are valid. I'm offering my services as a financial advisor.
No. Have you heard what they've told me? Anyway, Bonnie, what's up in business tonight?
Betty, we have a lot coming up in business, plus of course our usual numbers when you go to the financial market report, all that coming up in business.
You are watching KTN Friday Briefing.
This is business. My name is Bonnie Tunya. Safaricom and Airtel Kenya must each pay over 400 million shillings and meet 11 other conditions prescribed by the industry regulator before they can seal the deal with ESA Telecoms, popularly known as U Mobile. Here's KTN's Michael Karanja with the rest of that report.
U Community. ESA Telecom's U Mobile has been the star attraction in the telecommunications market ever since it announced that it would like to fold its operations. This threw players in the market as well as other actors into frenzy, kicking off a tough bidding war as to who would acquire its assets. In a rare move of solidarity, Safaricom and Airtel Kenya, either by design or convenience, came together to put in a joint bid for U. After getting a tad agitated by the length of time the regulator was taking to make a decision, they finally got their answer.
We also note the authority's role in ensuring optimal utilization of resources in the ICT sector. In this respect, the board of the authority has intends to grant an approval of the application subject to 3 parties meeting the following conditions.
The approval by the regulator, however, did come with a few strings attached to it. For the sale to be approved, Safaricom and Airtel Kenya will be required to pay an upfront fee of approximately 400 million shillings. Further to that, both operators must agree to share the infrastructure with industry players. For Safaricom, this comes as a major blow as it will be required to share its robust mobile money network with its rivals, a position it has fought severally in the past.
This is a healthy thing so long as it is done within the confines and guidance of the rules that would not let into one or so of the players to abuse their dominance role.
The regulator has also moved to license 3 new mobile operators. FinServe Africa Limited, a company associated with Equity Bank, Zenocell and Mobile Pay have all been granted a license, and it is believed they are all eyeing the lucrative mobile money transfer industry. The set of new conditions now leaves Safaricom and Airtel Kenya between a rock and a hard place as to whether the deal makes sense. It is believed that Safaricom is all but ready to pull the plug on the deal. Michael Karanja, KTN Business.
The higher levies being charged by county governments are a scare to investments. This was said by business leaders drawn from various sectors of the economy when they met in Nairobi to take stock of devolution 1 year down the line. Charles Gitonga has that report.
We can think about it. The improper implementation of Finance Act by county governments took the center stage of the forum, with business leaders stating that though counties need to raise revenue, the policy need to be in harmony with a favorable business environment.
What we are seeing now is a focus on collecting more tax revenue from the existing taxpayers rather than broadening the base of those to whom taxes can be levied.
They further noted that the discomfort that has accompanied passing of Counties Finance Act is an indication that relevant stakeholders were not properly engaged in decision making.
Where consultation has taken place, business has not seen their inputs reflected in the decision. So it leads to a lot of disappointment, because if you talk to people, if you give them your suggestions, but nothing is done, then it's easy, and you've seen some people respond by picketing and demonstration out of frustration.
Border fee and double taxation are among issues leaders identified as pain to local investment. They faulted county governments of putting more focus on attracting foreign investment while neglecting the locals.
Some governors have gone out to visit visit counties and visit other countries to bring investors, but they have not visited their local factories.
The concerns come days after the Institution of Surveyors of Kenya expressed worry over high land levies at the county level, hence broadening the cost of investment. The leaders said issues coming from today's meeting will be tabled at Governor's Council and a way forward will be charted. Charles Gitonga, KTN Business.
UAP Holdings Limited has reported a profit before tax of 2.2 billion shillings for the year ended 31st December 2013. That is a 27% increase from 1.7 billion achieved in 2012. Here's Philip Kitani with that report.
The December 2013 civil strife outbreak in southern Sudan saw a number of Kenyan farms retreat from the previous lucrative market for UAP Holdings. This saw it hold on to expansion plans that were in top gear.
We continue to do a lot more as part of our strategy for 2014-2015. There is a concerted effort to ensure that we enhance our customer experience and therefore retain the existing clients and of course get new clients.
With marginal progress in southern Sudan, the company however says it still has its expansion plans in the southern African countries as it grows its African footprint.
We've made a new investment in various distribution channels and that investment is starting to yield fruit. In terms of customer experience, we launched UAP application in order to enhance the experience of our customers and to make sure that they're able to transact efficiently with us.
In the year under review, UAP reported a 35% growth in its total income, driven by insurance and property arms.
So you can see growth in income from property business has been strong. And in each of the key markets, we do have landmark properties. And right now, we acquired a prime land in Kigali, and we will be constructing a mixed-use development, one of the largest in Kigali, to be anchored by retail, hospitality, and commercial development.
The firm also says it is working on modalities to see it list at the Nairobi Securities Exchange in the next 2 years. Philip Keitan, KTN Business.
Right, finally, here's a look at how the markets closed on Friday on the Financial Market Review coming up next. So that's business on the day that Home Africa was the biggest gainer, moving up 9 percentage points. More numbers coming up on Monday. My name is Bonnie Tunya. Back to Betty.
Thanks a lot, Bonnie, for that. Great weekend ahead. Now let's have a recap of our top story tonight. And police say they have gunned down 2 of the suspects who attacked the Joy in Jesus Church in Likoni on Sunday, killing 6 people. The announcement came just hours after the Inspector General of Police, David Kimayo, had criticized the area county commissioner for his shoot-to-kill order. There you we go. Another favorite of Friday Briefing tonight. It's time for Mind Your Language. And as I promised, Willis the Word Master, a.k.a. Willis Cheng, is in studio. Willis, great to see you.
Betty, great to see you on a Friday.
On a Friday.
Yes.
Willis, first of all, thank you very much for accepting to come again. After last week, we had so much feedback. And thank you very much for coming.
Well, you know, a gentleman's bond is his pledge or word, and you have to stick to that.
You have to say that facing this camera. A gentleman's bond, I think that our brothers need to hear that.
His pledge.
Is
just
his
like
pledge.
we say, a white man's, bond is his word.
Exactly.
So, once you've given a promise,
you have to
keep it.
Exactly.
Yes.
All right, there we go. Let's start over. We've had Alfayo and Titus, and you've had quite funny characters.
A very interesting piece, if you ask me, Betty.
Thank
I can
you.
tell you that for free.
Very authentic and
Yes.
very natural.
Very natural.
Yes, and there's some naturalness from them that we've also seen. The mother tongue influence. When they were reading the intro, we had chicas. I mean, can you forgive that as a teacher of pronunciation?
Well, Betty, when it comes to matters of pronunciation, and we are talking about mother tongue influence, or what is commonly called mother tongue interference, that is locally, and you can also call it first language influence.
Yes.
Some people say mother tongue supremacy. Anyway, Betty, that one comes in with certain people and you can't avoid it. But what we have to know is that it's not a reserve or something that you can only find within one community.
Okay.
You come to Kisumu,
Yes.
you may find some people who can never say fish. They'll say fish.
Face.
If
but
you
it
say-
actually sounds better when they say face. I know
You
it's wrong.
That is that. So you go to Meru, maybe you tell somebody degree, the person will say degree.
Degree.
You go to your place,
Oh,
that
our
is
place, I know.
Cumberland or
Yeah.
Machakos,
Yeah.
you may find somebody saying fundamental, maybe fundamental.
And it's actually fundamental.
It's there.
But the mother tongue influence is, it's comfortable to say fundamentals.
When it comes to serious communication
Yeah.
or formal communication, a case like broadcasting and all that, that is why we have auditioning and all that.
Yes.
People will be attracted to how you speak
Yes,
and
exactly.
not what you are saying.
Exactly.
So in broadcasting, marketing, and any other career of serious communication, Betty, you'll try to, to get somebody who does not have that. But anyway, it's always there, even beyond Africa, believe you me.
I believe you, Willis, and I believe you. All right, Willis, let's get straight to it. And let me just take you back a bit. 2 weeks back, we had this word wallet, where you put money. And a couple of people were wondering why. Why do we say wallet? Why do we say knowledge? Maybe you could just, brush up on that.
Betty, languages have what we call phonology. If you go to Luoland, you'll have a word like liel, that is funeral, and the same word, when you say liel, when you rise, it will now be a different thing. It will be meaning burning. Liel, burning, liel, funeral. So every language has a sound, system. So here we are talking about homographs. Just like minute and minute, the way I said it the other time. So when we come to English itself, the problem we are having is when it was introduced into countries outside England, or when we are now using it in places like Africa, we may be acquiring wrong or defective pronunciations without knowing, because we don't have proper, guidelines, or we don't have proper guide materials which are simpler for people to understand. So what we hear are what we may call, or linguistically somebody can call it, an approximation. Or even conjecture. We guess certain pronunciations because we also acquired them from those who also guessed. So the word,
it's a guessing game.
If I want to be honest with you, Betty, to be honest with you, some of the pronunciations we are using are just wrong or defective. But languages are not prescriptive as such. So in that case, when we talk of wallet, the RP, the British standard form of pronunciation, which is used in southern England and considered to be correct by the educated and cultured persons, of course, you'll say wallet. But if somebody says wallet, well, so long as that person can communicate, it's okay.
But the correct one is,
but the correct one is wallet.
Wallet.
A wallet.
A wallet, not a wallet. Okay, let's get straight to some words that I came up with. Do we say aviation or aviation? We've been hearing this, especially with what is happening in Malaysia.
We talk of A. Letter A, aviation.
Aviation.
The same letter, you use its name when you are pronouncing that word at the onset, the beginning of that word. So you say aviation, just like we talk of avian flu, not avian flu. So we don't say aviation. I even hear that in certain, adverts or advertisements. I hear of aviation. No, we say aviation.
Aviation.
Aviator.
Okay.
Yes.
There's this one, severe or severe?
Severe. Severe headache. Severe, not severe. We also say persevere, not persevere, the way we said it locally. Persevere, severe. And we talk of revere, to revere, not revere, not ravere, revere for respect, or somebody who is, like we talk of a revered leader and all that. Yes.
Okay, great. Then we have two words. We have this, like this iPad here, and this, meaning, a couple of things. What's the difference in pronunciation?
You're talking about when you're demonstrating something, like now a demonstrative pronoun. When you talk of this thing.
This table and this children.
These. So we say this. This. Demonstrative, the singular is this.
Okay.
THIS.
Yes.
This. We don't say these. No sound z.
Yes.
It's sound s. This. But when we talk about the plural, that is THESE, we now say these. We have the long vowel E, and at the end, or the terminal part of that word, we have a voiced sound z. So you say these are children, not these are children.
Okay,
these. Yes.
All right. Let's move to our feedback. And Esau Busiega wants to know how to pronounce his word. Is it Esau or Esau?
When it comes to names, Betty, remember at one stage I told you certain names are unpronounceable. That one is provided for in languages or linguistics. So certain names are very difficult. But there are certain names, when we look at them, we think that they are pronounced the way they are spelled. Just like I talked of Leo. The name Leo. When we look at it locally, we'll say Leo.
Yes.
But the name is Leo. Romeo, we say Romeo. You get that?
Yes.
So when we talk of Esau locally, if we want to pronounce that word in the context of English, we say Esau. Esau. Very tricky. Esau.
Wow.
Esau. Believe you me.
I'm sure he was pronouncing it wrongly. I'm very sure about that. Okay, let's move on to Maurice J. Odwar. Has a couple of words. Let me pick one or two. There is eyebrow or eyebrow, and then there's also, do we say custody or custody?
Custody with a weak vowel O, what we call a schwa, technically. So you say custody, not custody. You see, sometimes when people speak, they try to imitate or to ape the American accent, where you'll find somebody, instead of telling you, Betty, I'm feeling hot, hot, somebody will tell you, I'm feeling hot. You get that?
Yes.
So even custody, where we have the sound O being a weak one, somebody will tell you custody.
Yes.
You might have heard people saying custody. So the correct pronunciation for that word is custody.
Custody.
The other word you said was which one?
The other one is eyebrow or eyebrow.
Eyebrow. Eyebrow. We don't say eyebrow. I want to say something here.
Yes.
When we talk of a conflict, there is R-O-W, like a land. R-O-W is not a land row. We say land row for conflict or dispute.
Yes.
Even marriage row, not row. But when we talk about an arrangement, like in class, of the benches and all that, we talk of the row in class. Those are now the homographs.
Yes.
So we have to be very careful. Just like to bow your head for a word of prayer, bow, B-O-W.
Yes.
But for shooting an arrow, you now say bow.
Bow.
Word with the same spelling. Those are homographs, Betty.
All right, Willis. Okay, I want you to hand things over to Lynn Washira in our sports studio, and then we'll continue this in just a short while. Camera 2. Go, Willis.
Well, KTN viewers, it's time for sport, and Lynn Washira has to make us feel sporty on such a day, Friday night. Lynn, how are you?
I'm very fine, Willis. And I'm wondering, are you traveling to Mombasa? Or you don't know what's happening in Mombasa this weekend, do you?
Well, I am not very much in the picture, but you see Mombasa.
Let me tell you what will be happening in Mombasa. Your Lakeside team, that's Gor Mahia, will be traveling to Mombasa to face Bandari in the Kenya Premier League. And that story and many more coming up after a short break. Do stay with us, don't go too far. Kenya Sevens team gets into a good start at the Hong Kong IRB Rugby Sevens series.
You are watching KTN Friday Briefing.
Thank you very much for keeping it KTN Friday Briefing. Now, let's have a review of our big question tonight. And we had asked you, should the shoot-to-kill order be sustained or kept? Should the shoot-to-kill order be kept in place? And as you can see on your screens, 81% say yes, it should, and 19% say no, it should not be kept in place. Thank you very much for your response on the Big Q tonight. Right, just before we wind up, Willis, I just want to say thank you very much for coming again. It's always a pleasure having you. I think the next time I'll be seeing you is in Kisumu County.
Where I'll be struggling with my earphone.
With your earphones, as always. We'll find a way of
I've really enjoyed it. And Betty, I will never forget to remind people that when it comes to pronunciations, that is the standard pronunciations, nobody, not even myself, can be totally perfect. But we have to try.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Words from Willis, the Wordmaster, aka Willis Ochieng. Thank you very much for watching KTN Friday Briefing. Have a great weekend and a great night. See you again next Friday, God willing. Cheers.